suis là pour t'aimer, alors, ok, ainsi, petit baby, alors, la coupée sana, alors, maman, alors, what baby, ma petite tano, alors, la coupée sana, oh, maman, oh, maman.
Hey, Mazi, asante sana for joining us for another classic episode of the Weekend Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. This week, Atuna, our studio audience for the first part of the show, but I want to join in a bit. Alafu, this week, Bado, Kenya Airways pilots went on strike over a range of issues, among them a salary raise. It's the irony for me, Mazi. Pilots have gone on strike because they want a raise. What more do they want above the 42,000 feet above sea level? Now, as a sign of the hard economic times, it's almost like very few Kenyans were affected by the strike, and no one seems to have felt the pilot strike like the West.
I can't calm down because I'm up there, and so you come up here with me. It's called emotional intelligence. If you have issues with your government, go deal out there. I'm doing business with you. I bought my ticket. So deal with me. Deal with me the way I deal with you. I gave you my money, you fly me back to Ghana. Okay? So on that same agreement that you have a problem with your government, I got issues with you too. Because you should have thought about me first. Me, your customer first. Okay? You have issues with your government. You can go ahead.
Allow us to apologize, first of all.
No. I'm going through pain. You know what pain is? I'm going through pain. You might not believe me. I'm going to walk into
And now you're telling us you wouldn't give us
all the details are on my phone. My plan is I land in Ghana. My driver is waiting to take me to the wedding to MC the wedding. And the assumption is that the assumption about Africans is that when we book something, the whole day is for travel. No, the whole day is not for travel.
So we are doing our best.
No, your best is not enough.
You can't be doing your best now. It's too late to be doing your best.
You got to do your best. Your government did not do the best, and I'm supporting you. Right, let's go. Let's go right now. Let's do that. Let's do that now. Let's do that.
I want to be on that flight. Who am I going to?
We can't do it in that. Take us. Yeah.
Umsa amechelewa harusi, but ile asira anatumia unaweza fikiria amechelewa swearing in yake. And you can also tell that the gentleman flies so regularly that he has trouble staying on the ground.
I can't calm down because I'm up there, and so you come up here with me.
Umse anaishi kwa ndege. Now, my favorite, wasiwaemba, siyo hiyo kwa ndege yenu. My favorite phrase hapo ni, kwa hiyo video ya kwanza ni, it's too late to do your best. Umse heziko motivational speaker. It's too late to do your best. First of all, this guy is a wedding MC. A marriage is at stake. But do Kenyans really care? Do we? Because this comes right in the week where the Kenya Bureau of Statistics has released a report saying that almost 50% of Kenyan men get old without ever getting married. Unaambia watu hawaoangi vile uko na hasira ati umechelewa harusi. Now, to be honest, I feel the guy is paying, and I think it's the high time the aviation industry borrows a thing or two from the matatu industry. So that this doesn't happen again. It doesn't need to happen again. Maisikia watu wa matatu wamestrike juu ya mshahara. Never. Matatu guys can strike about everything else, including potholes, but sio salary. The aviation industry should adopt the same. Pilot, waokote fare na makanga, wakule yao, alafu ile imebaki wapatie mwenye ndege. That solves the problem. Now, bora tu wasilete zile stories za makonda kwa ndege. Buda tukiwa chini umeniambia South Africa ni 80k. Mia imetoka wapi? Niweke hapo Kongo. Now, their problem solved. And now that your story tumemaliza, hebu turudi sasa kwa ujamaa wetu kiasi.
I can't calm down because I'm up there.
Hii pressure yote ni ya nini? Calm down, manza. Calm down. Now, from the footage I've seen, he was the angriest passenger. Maybe they should have offered him alternative means of flying so that the anger doesn't interfere with the strike. The strike is sacred. Okay, sir. We can arrange for traditional means for you to fly back to Ghana in time for the wedding. Do you know Mbarambamba? Now, let me tell you of an interesting coincidence about this story. As our friend from Ghana was expressing his anger about grounded flights and the Kenyan pilots being on the receiving end of for refusing to get high. In Ghana, where he was going, there were protests about a different kind of high. Watu walikuwa wanaandamana ati bei ya banki imepanda.
But we are told it's expensive now. Is that
it's expensive. Marijuana was sold, it seems 1 city, some is 2 city. But now marijuana is sold 3 city, 5 city. It doesn't make sense.
When I saw the story of Ghanaians protesting over high cost of weed, I got confused.
I can't calm down because I'm up there. And so you come up here with me.
Now, could it be that... Never mind. Tuendelee na show. In other news, there is a burial crisis in Kisii where, due to lack of space, area residents have no place to bury their loved ones. A crisis that has seen the county governor Simba Arati floating a very unlikely proposal.
Kisii County is one of the country's most densely populated counties. While this is a strain on the living, it is an equally disturbing situation for the dead. The county government says the situation is dire and blames excessive land division and land grabbing of the county's cemetery for the situation as it is here, with the county governor asking the residents to start thinking outside the cultural constraints in regards to disposing of the remains of their loved ones.
We may result into cremation. Though it's not our tradition, it's not our customs. But we don't have space. People must come to land that's the only way to go, because we don't have land.
You know what's interesting about Governor Simba Arati's proposal? Is that even the governor himself knows how hard it is for people to accept that. Kisii County has been in the news for some people being burned alive. Dead people is where they draw the line, because that is against culture and traditions. Kisii ukikosea watu wengine, before uende unaoneshwa moto, which is the literal definition of hell on earth. Now by the way, ndio inani hit. Ile story tukonaongelea pilots. That's pilot strike. That really displays what some people would call the imbalance of life. When career pilots down their tools, there's negotiations, stakeholders get involved, governments come through. In this case, kwanza ni governments. Alafu sasa kuna pilots by passion.
47-year-old Gabriel tunes out their voices, focusing on the task at hand. He dreams of soaring with the birds in an aircraft built with his own 2 hands. For a few glorious seconds, Upendo is airborne, and then it crashes to the ground. Another dream dashed.
These people could have provided a great alternative in times of crisis. Kama hii ya juzi, lakini we. Kuna mmoja kwanza chief alimwambia akiona hiyo kitu kwa hewa. Anyway, we have a great show lined up for you. Let's talk about ground piloting. Na siyo tumeonesha. Our guest for this episode runs one of the top YouTube channels on cars. Inaitwa Conversations. He has all the tips you need to know before ununue gari. Kwa nini gari zingine usumbua, and generally all you need to know about cars. One way or another, kila mtu ana dreaming kukuwa na gari one time or another. Ama uko na gari na uko na vitu zingine sengine zi kusurprise na who understand, Eric is the person to talk to. Eric Wakabi is with us on the other end of this short commercial break. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back to the weekend edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. Conversation ya leo is very timely because ikona all things you need to know about a car. Kama unataka kubuy gari, you need to know. Kama una need kutengenezewa gari, usiwe gongwa kama, as in our guest today, probably me na a few representative na maswali 2-3 tumeuliza za kuprotect, usilipe school fees ya kufundishwa ama kukaribishwa Nairobi tena. Guest wetu is one of the top car reviewers in Kenya, runs one of the biggest YouTube channels ya magari inaitwa Conversations. Eric Wakabi is in the house. Wazi, karibu sana, karibu.
Asante, thank you so much.
Karibu sana. Kuvibe na wewe Eric, kwanza uko na so much information ya magari. In fact, I think tunafaa tu kuanza ni nini ya ujui about magari. Ndio to save time.
Unajua kila kitu ni learning process. So every day we learn something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Umaigongwa na make?
Kitambo sana. kitambo sana. Lakini saa hii
how heavy was the punishment adjusted to inflation? Kama nilikwambia nimaibaika kitu ka 350 2500. Alafu nikakuja nikajua how heavy was the pain yako punishment?
In fact it was not very painful, sababu yule unajua most mechanics wako na broker. Sasa akapigia broker yake akanipigia. Sasa mimi nilikuwa broker wake. So
ukagongwa second hand. Manze, story ya gari ni very wide, very interesting. Na hiyo especially hiyo part ya kugongwa inakuanga serious injury na psychological inaitwaje, inaleta psychological injuries zenye you go long before ufike place unaweza laugh about them. You've gone through a lot. The most curious question ni najua most of the people watching us ni mse our first person when tunaweza penda hii show reach mtu anataka kubuy gari ya kwanza. What do you consider before you buy a car?
Now, there are a few factors to consider because most of us think that affording the car is the only thing. Well, before you buy a car, you need to, first of all, afford the car.
Yes.
For instance, Demio car saini 1.2, you must have that 1.2.
Yes.
Then consider how do you want to acquire the car. Am I buying it cash? Am I buying it through hire purchase or bank financing? So that's another thing. The other important thing, fanya some background research. If I spot one vehicle,
yes,
how reliable is it? Ni gari ya kunilalisha kwa kichaka? Well, hiyo inaweza apply kama unapenda camping. Secondly, the other thing is what is the cost of keeping that car on the road?
Cost of keeping that car on the road.
Yes.
Sometimes it's more expensive than the cost of buying the car.
Than the cost of buying the car.
Na pia that is relative because unapatanga watu wanasema usiwahi guza bima, na kuna mtu anasema mimi hakuna gari nyingine naweza buy kama sio bima. What before tuende kwa the other factor, what differentiates our watu? The experience ya mtu mmoja anaweza kaa na gari, unaona mtu anaendeshanga bima ya 1991 na kuna mtu akona ya juzi analia. Watu wanaambiwa msiguze.
Well, you can look at it on different approaches. Number one, we all have a dream car. So if your dream car says a Beamer, it means your pocket, and that goes to understanding what you're buying. Your pocket is also a bit deeper. Sababu pesa inaweza solve. You can afford to fix that car. Mostly if you can afford the car but you cannot keep it on the road, hiyo gari ikiharibika, you cannot also afford to fix it. So kuna shida zingine zinasolviwa na pesa.
Okay. Na hapo kwa dream ndio inakuja na kulala kwa kichaka because you have to sleep before you dream. Aya, zile factors zingine ulikuwa unasema?
The other factors ni kama you also need to understand the cost of insurance. That is very important as well.
Yes.
Pia lazima ulipie gari insurance. Na kuna wasee wao husema naweza lipia gari third party, but if you're buying a car off the showroom, third party
not a good idea.
Not a very good idea. But utapata most high-end cars in Kenya today ni third party. Because
uwezi buy third party na uko unaomba daily before utoke, unajua ile ya?
Sasa hapo hivyo utakuwa wewe ni co-driver sababu driver atakuwa ni Yesu.
Okay, sawa. Na hiyo before kwanza uende mbele kwa story ya cost, most financial experts wanasemanga it's the worst idea kubuy gari cash. Ati gari umeambiwa ni 1 million, unapeleka 1 million, unabuy gari. What do you have to say about that?
It depends on how you look at things. If you're a business person, then it's a very bad idea to buy it in cash. If you're just a normal... Okay, what in real sense, what happens is, nikinunua hiyo gari, say 1 million, I'll have put my 1 million in that vehicle. But if I buy it through bank finance, it means nitakuwa nimeweka hapo, bank will probably finance 80% or 70%. So nitakuwa nimeweka hapo 30%, hiyo 70% inafanya kazi ingine. So ingine nitakuwa nalipa hiyo 70% pole pole. So if you're business minded, buying it on asset finance or on credit is a better idea. Ndio maana unapata most of the guys wanafanya kazi ya matatu ama commercial, they'll never buy their cars in cash.
Okay. So ina depend na chenye unaenda kutumia hiyo gari.
Exactly.
If you are a jobless person?
If you are a jobless person, hata kupata on credit ni ngumu.
Ununue bike. The other factor?
The other factor will be, okay, there are people who consider resale value of the vehicle. That is not very important.
Okay.
Not unless you are a car dealer. The other thing you would really look at on matters that is how long do you want to keep the car. Kama kusa kuna gari hybrid, there is a particular lifespan that is accorded to a hybrid car. So up to a certain timeline, itakuwa not serviceable.
What is that timeline?
Most manufacturers give the battery life 10 years.
So ukiwa na gari hybrid, lazima uuze at 9.5 years.
Shida
ndio mtu mwingine alia on your behalf.
Most of the times, lakini the biggest problem is utapata umeimport hiyo gari at 8 years.
8 years.
So uko na 2 years. Alafu tena kuna kuwa na grace period. Si unajua hata mkate ukinunua leo, expiry date imeandikwa ni kesho, unaweza ikula 2 days after bila so many problems. Lakini 1 week later haiwezi. So there is always a grace period, but most manufacturers, ni kitu unaweza ingia online na uone. Okay. They'll cap it at 10 years.
Okay.
Na hapa tunanunua or 100,000 miles.
Okay. Na hiyo ni kitu poa sana umesema. How much does mileage matter kwa gari?
Mileage matters in some specific models. Not all. For instance, sahi kununua Probox. Probox hata ununua ikiwa imeenda so mbili, like 200,000 kilometers, haina kitu ati expensive inaweza haribu. You get. But if you're buying a Mercedes Benz, you know, with Mercedes there is the service A, service B, service C. So if you buy it before 100k kilometers, 100k is where you go to service C. That is where you have to do, you know, change engine seals, transmission, suspension. So it's the most expensive service. So kama unataka kuchukua hii kitu na ujanja, you either buy it way before or way after.
You either way, as in when you buy after, someone must suffer on your behalf so that when ukiingia unaingia kuanza safari mpya.
Yeah, somebody must have suffered on your behalf. The other thing ni gari hybrid. Hybrid vehicles, they are very sensitive to mileage. But hizi gari zingine, especially the Japanese ones,
yes.
Even Mazda Axelas, by the way, if it's non-hybrid, you don't have to worry so much about mileage. Okay. Mileage is a case-by-case scenario.
Okay.
Sababu sawa msewa Probox sama msewa Alto utamwambia gari yake ni high mileage aje.
Now, after studying the market, how I've noticed a trend. Unaonanga kuna time flani people have discovered a certain brand of cars. Unaona nayo kila mtu.
Yeah.
Alafu after sometimes hauioni tena. First one, moja an example, I don't know where the RVRs went to. There was a time ukiangalia hivi ukiturn RVR kila mahali. Ilipotea. Sahi tena kuna sijui CX5. CX5 unaziona kila mtu. Niliona Twitter watu wanasema zimepakiwa kwa yard fulani. There's something people are crying about universally.
Yes.
What happens?
Well, you see, like for the RVRs, they were very affordable compact crossovers. And the demand for compact crossovers in Kenya is very high. So guys bought them, but price went up. Because currently, if you're buying a 2015 RVR, it's going for around 2.2, 2.3 million.
Okay.
So you see, the cost discourages people from buying it.
Okay.
And if you look at now the local used vehicles, sitaki kusema gari used, hata uki-import bado ni used. The local used ones, the demand for RVRs is very high, is extremely high. Okay. Because now guys can be able to get a crossover SUV for like 1 million, 1.2. Ile gari utakimbilia sana sana ni RVR. The advantages are RVR is quite friendly to the pocket in terms of fueling and also maintenance. But sasa venye bei ilipanda, ni kama Honda Vezel. Zikikuja zilikuwa mingi sana, but right now Honda Vezel is going for 2.4 million.
So is there a limit by KRA or the government in terms of the kind of vehicles you can buy? Ukienda uangalie gari inauzwa and it's a unique car, you've never seen it anywhere. Can you decide, mimi nataka hii?
Yeah, you can buy.
Yeah.
You can buy. Okay, KRA has its own fair share of problems when it comes to taxing vehicles. But I feel if you want there are people who are driving very unique cars. Okay. You don't have to be affected sana. Yeah.
But mechanic atalan na gari
mechanic
yako.
Sasa utakuwa guinea pig.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Sawa. Now, in terms of importation, like can someone trust themselves to just go on the internet, ajiimportie gari, na ajilete mpaka kwa nyumba? What are the risks? And what are the advantages?
Importation, tuanze na advantages. Hata nikiwa politician taanza na promises. Lota niwaambie mnipatie miaka 2. Sasa advantages are you will get the car cheaper. But it's not guaranteed that you will get it cheaper. Sababu kuna kitu inaitwa good month, bad month, and also the year of manufacture. So tunaweza leta, for instance, assuming we are bringing gari za 2015 currently, if ni ulete gari ya 2015 good month, assuming ulete RVR yako ya 2015, kuna kitu inaitwa month of first registration. Na yako ni ya tuseme 2015 February, na mimi nilete yangu ya 2015 December, tutalipa tax very different. Mine is going to be more expensive compared to yours. So it's not a guarantee that when you import a car, it's going to be cheaper. Sababu most people do not really consult. So one is cheap. The other is that you will be able to explore. Na uchukue ile rangi unataka, ile interior unataka. You'll get variety that you might not be able to get in the local market. But disadvantage ni moja. Kupiga shower.
Kuoshwa.
Unaweza oga rahisi sana. And right now the risk is so high because there are guys, you see there are Japanese car selling sites. Wase wajuja wanatusumbua sana. Because of mtu anachukua site ya Japanese car selling site and I clone. And the only difference maybe you can tell is the URL. Okay. Utapata most inakuanga .jp or something. So ukiona ni tofauti kidogo, by the way, you'll even have the same stock.
Unaweza ingia kwa site unafikiria uko Tokyo kumbe uko Waitai.
Uko Waitai bwana. Na hadi ulipe. Then after paying upata hiyo site hakuna. So that is why it's always recommended, if you choose to import the car on your own, go to a Japanese selling site, and to be safer, make sure that that site has an agency here in Nairobi.
Okay.
Ndio unaweza enda uconfirm, upige simu kwa ofisi yao ya Nairobi, waambie by the way wase nimecheki hii gari.
Si ati mmepata pesa. Nimecheki hii gari.
Nimecheki hii gari.
Okay.
Mambo ya pesa hapana.
Okay.
Once they verify the stock, alafu ni vizuri watumie screenshot waambie hii site ni yenu.
Okay. Sawa. Now when it comes to cost of putting the car on the road, sometimes these expenses are blown out of proportion. Many people have been victims of this. How do you go about maintaining your car at a price that is real?
You know, there are things that are called middle class problems in Kenya.
Yes.
And sometimes you overtrust people. One way to learn your car and learn the prices, fanya hivi, take your car to the mechanic on a Saturday or a Sunday when you have the time. Muulize nini imeharibu, akupatie. Go to the shop, beba sample. If you go online today, there are so many shops that are dealing with spare parts. Zenye ziko online. So you can always inquire.
And don't go to the shop in a suit. Tafuta apron ya kwenda kununua spares. Because pia wenye shop wanajua wageni.
Kuna shops zenye ziko standard, yenye utapatiwa DTR, but ukitembea hivi pia upatane na mtu mwingine anaona huyu msee ako na pesa.
Welcome to Nairobi.
Welcome to Nairobi. Okay. So the middle class problem, sometimes nataka kufanya ile kitu inaitwa pick and drop. Naambia Kings anaambia kujia Benz yangu. Niende nikuje nikuambie hii gari hata coolant haina, hata to change windscreen. then nikuje, you know, how are you going to verify that I have not changed say rackets? Nikuletea gari hapa basement, how are you going to tell?
Thank you. So Kwa hivyo kugongwa kwa system ya magari is the price of convenience.
Yes. Mostly it's the price of convenience and some aspects of ignorance.
Any other thing? Precautionary?
Precautionary is also kama venye tu watu wanaenda kwa dentist every 3 months. Ni vizuri hata kama gari yako haijaharibika, once in a while take it for a checkup, because before something fails, most of the time it will always warn you.
Ushaisikia ile kitu ya ukienda hospitali ukiwa sawa utatoka kama hauko sawa?
Pia garage inakuanga hivyo.
Si ndio nasema?
Okay,
but it's also important to
have
just
that
go check.
health check. Yeah.
Uende uangalie kama mambo iko sawa. Eric has so much information about cars. Please, ukitaka kujua more than we can cover on this episode, please check out his YouTube channel naitwa Conversations. Conversation ni wordplay interesting sana. Kaa ya gari alafu Conversations. Asante sana kwa kamsho yetu.
Thank you so much.
Wapi makofi yake? Asante sana. That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. King Ori.